Welcome back, Liberty Bell Beekeepers. Craig Mack here. So, for those of you that watch my channel, you know I'm doing a rain collection system, and part of the rain collection system purpose is to have automatic irrigation in my garden. When I go to water it by hand, it takes a lot of time. It's like an hour plus, and I plan on adding more to it this year. So I just don't have the time to stand out there and water my garden, unfortunately. With everything else that goes on, it's just too much of a time inconvenience to do all that watering by hand. So the plan is, along with the rain collection, to have an irrigation system that's on a timer and a pump and all that good stuff. So right now, I'm looking at my pump. So over the years, I've taken more of these jacuzzi tubs out of people's homes than I've ever installed. People that get them seem like they never use them, and they always get rid of them. And because of that, I ended up with a few of these pumps in my shop over the years. Now, I went ahead and purchased new fittings for this because the ones that connected to the tub are all glued up and unable to be used for this purpose. Just because they use a different style PVC, a flexible hose PVC, and it's just a nightmare to try to separate these fittings from that. So I bought new fittings. They're 1.5 inches. My rain barrels are 2-inch outlets, but I can always step that down to the 1.5 inches. So what I'm using this jacuzzi tub pump for is to power my system. Now, I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I mocked up this bucket with water and going to see if it actually works. So I'm looking to pump this water up and across and see how well it does at actually moving the water. Now, these pumps and this impeller system move like 20 to 30 gallons of water per hour, I think, if I remember correctly. But I don't know how well it's going to work as far as in my system and if it's strong enough to do so. First off, I need to figure out if it's going to actually work and actually move some water. So I mocked up this little demonstration to see if it works. Now, these pumps require the system to be primed. So I filled this with water. This hose or this pipe here is filled, which primes the impeller. I have it drawing from a bucket, and as you can see, the output goes back and into the bucket. So it's a circular system, and I only need about 4 gallons of water to do so. This is on an air switch, an air pressure switch. If you've ever used one of those jacuzzi tubs, it's a button, you push it, the air pressure changes the switch position in this here. But I'm going to wire this with a different switch when everything's said and done. But I want to test this to see if it's even going to work for this purpose, and I'm hoping it does. So here's the moment of truth. We're going to go ahead and give this a push. Whoa! I guess it's going to work. Oh boy. So that pushed a lot of water pretty quickly. Now, I didn't have any of this glued up, and fortunately, I have a warehouse shop, but as you can see, it looks like my pump system is going to work. I was not expecting that. Let me see about setting this back up here so I can maybe get an appropriate test on this. Now, that lost a good bit of water. I do have a hose inside here, so I'm going to add some more water to this bucket and give these fittings a push tight to hopefully make sure that they don't go anywhere again. But as it looks, it seems like this is going to work for the purposes I'm looking to use it for. That was pretty wild. I was not expecting that. Good thing I'm not overly concerned about having water on the floor in here. Holy smokes. Man, that went firing off. So maybe I should hold this and give it another. Now, it looks looks like it had a bit of a surge there. And now I lost suction. And it's not pulling any water, but I might have lost my suction, or I might have lost my prime water in that. So I'm going to take this off again and fill it. And see if this works. So I think it's filling up because I see water moving in my bucket, and I don't know if that's moving because of when I filled it last time, but let's see if it... So, it looks like I am getting some circulation out of this pump when the system is primed. Now, I'm not getting a whole lot of pressure out of this, but my hope is that when I step this down to the smaller diameter piping, that it's going to work for me how I intend it to work. So my system, this pump will be at the bottom. I won't have this kind of loop in it. It'll come out of my tanks directly into this pump. Although now it's starting to pick up. Man, I'm throwing water all over the place. So I think I got to set this up in a little bit better test phase to make sure I'm going to get the proper water flow, because it looks like it's going to work for all intents and purposes, for the purposes that I'm looking for it to work for. The big issue is it going to pump up and away as far as I need it to and get enough pressure in the system in order to push the water through my sprayers. But if this test is any inclination as to how it's going to work in the future, I'm feeling pretty confident, but I am going to test it again to make sure. That was a hell of a test, and now I got a bit of water to pick up with the vacuum, but what are you going to do? That looked like it was pretty fun. Hope you enjoyed that, and keep an eye out for the next test. Later.